Welcome back. YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Dustin Ribellini, and Dustin talked about our opening day coming up on Sunday. Most teams open up on Monday. Your team, the Yankees, will be opening up on Sunday. Red Sox opening up on Monday down at Fenway. It's going to be cold down there. I'm going to have some snow this weekend, maybe.
Yeah, it will be cold.
So we talked a little bit about the American League last week. Let's get into the National League this week, and then we'll make our World Series picks just for fun because what's more fun than that?
That's right.
We'll probably get them wrong, but it's fun. Okay, Cubs. Let's start right off the top. Best team in baseball last year by far. Snuck out the World Series in extra innings, Game 7. They look like they're loaded again. Should be back. And that Central, probably not a challenge, and maybe even for the whole National League, they could run away with it again. Yeah,
they're still head and shoulders the best team in baseball, especially in the National League. I don't think they're going to win 103 games like they did last year. I think they're going to be it's just too much to do. I think they're going to drop back to more of that 95, 97 win range. But like you said, the biggest thing for the Cubs is the division. I think the NL Central, and it's no knock to the rest of the teams, I just don't think it's very strong. I don't see another team in that division winning more than 85, 86 games, a couple games over 500, which would give the Cubs a comfortable 8 to 10 game win. So sure, it's going to be a little more challenging than last year, but I still think the NL starts and ends with the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny because I would say the same thing, 95 wins, 85 wins for the Cardinals or the Pirates, depending on who has a breakout season. If it's something like the Cardinals, they always have the talent. The Pirates look like they could do it, but I just don't think anyone challenges in the Central. Going to the National League East, the Nationals, Mets, those two at the top. Is it the Nationals' year finally? They've got talent. They've made some trades. It looks like finally have they put all these pieces together. Or is the Mets, they got a great pitching staff, but there's always those injury concerns that always seem to pop up and they can't get over the hump.
I think the Nationals will win this division. The difference I see is for the Mets, I don't think the Mets offense is anywhere close to the Nationals.
Right.
And with that pitching staff, it's still young, it's still good, but they all have to stay healthy, or else the Mets are in rough shape. We saw last year, a couple of them went down. They finished, I think, 5 or 6 games behind the Nationals. So for me, the Mets have such a small room for error. If those pitchers aren't healthy, DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Harvey, and even Matz and Gesselman at the back end, if all 5 of them aren't healthy, pitching well, I don't think the offense can make up for it. Whereas the Nationals, with Trey Turner coming in, who's a very good young player, Adam Eaton coming over from Chicago to go with Bryce Harper, Zimmerman, Worth, everybody they already had, they can afford an injury. The Mets, they cannot.
Right, and it just seems like you said, smaller, less room for error. And with the Mets, that offense really, I don't know if people aren't focusing on that because their pitching staff is so good, but that offense, when you look at it's
getting older.
Bad.
It's getting older, and it's getting more injured every year.
They're not doing anything about it, and they're all relying on that pitching staff. And it does seem if everybody pitches perfectly, they could challenge the Cubs.
Right.
But what are the chances that happens as opposed to the Nationals, where they have the pitching and they have a little bit? I guess I like to say they have more paths to victory.
Right.
The Mets have one, and if Matt Harvey doesn't come back healthy and his velocity, we've talked about that. So I agree with you, Nationals in that division. Out west, an interesting division that the Dodgers have always seemed to have control of, but the Giants are always there in the wild card, and coming down the stretch, the Giants are always there. I imagine it's going to be much the same this year.
I don't see any difference here. I still think the Dodgers have the most talent in the division. And like you said, the Giants, they're always going to be there just because the pedigree that they have, the 3 titles, the players that they have, they know how to win games. I just think in this division, the separation factor for me is the upside of the Dodgers, I think, is about 97, 98 wins if they play well. For the Giants, I think it's going to be tough for them to win 90. I think they're more challenging for that wild card, maybe a handful of games behind the Dodgers, just because if Kershaw stays healthy with the rest of that rotation and the stars they have on offense, especially if Yasiel Puig can get his situation figured out, I think the Dodgers could challenge the Cubs for the number 1 seed in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. The Dodgers, that's my pick in that division as well. Just obviously Clayton Kershaw, I think he only pitched 150 innings or something last year, and he still was maybe one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in the National League, and obviously carrying the Dodgers to another victory in the National League West. All right, so I'm going to take the Cubs out of the National League. I just think they have so much talent, so much depth. They're the best team. I take the Cubs to get the World Series. What do you say?
Yeah, I like the Cubs out of the National League. I just think that to beat the Cubs, one, either they're going to have to be injured or you're just going to have to catch them on some off nights. And even though these guys won it last year, we always hear about the World Series hangover, teams come back to earth. They're so young and they're so hungry, they don't really know better.
Right.
They're if they were older veterans, maybe they'd have a little little setback, but I still think this team's set up for many, many years to come. I like the Cubs in the National League as well.
Okay, I do have to make a correction because I do want to make it clear that I'm not trying to go on my radio show. I picked the Dodgers.
Oh, okay.
And then here I picked the Cubs. I don't want to confuse people and hedge both sides. So I'll go with the Dodgers.
Okay,
I'll
so
go up
the
against
Dodgers out of the National
Yeah, I got
League.
the Dodgers. That's who we picked on Saturday when we did our radio show.
Yep.
And in the American League, we both have the Indians,
Indians,
right?
yep. I think the Indians we talked about the AL last week. Not as many question marks as the Red Sox. Made it to Game 7 last year without 2 starters. If the Red Sox are healthy, should be a battle, but the Indians have less question marks right now going into opening day.
All right, Cubs and Indians, and you have who winning it?
I think this is the Indians' year. They win it in 7 games.
All right, and I have the Dodgers and the Indians. I'm going to take the Dodgers, so we're on opposite sides, American League, National League. Hopefully the Red Sox are at least somewhere in the mix. Maybe
For
the
you.
Yankees
Yeah,
do,
the
right?
Yankees
Maybe the
won't
Yankees
be,
get the
but-
wild card.
No, I don't think so.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have the Valley Regional Healthcare Prescription Playbook, and then later the Salt Hill Pub Picks of the Week. You're watching YCN Sports Talk.